The installation of a second ground rod at the gate could be a violation of National Electrical Code Section 250.52(8)(1), which states that a single grounding electrode system shall be used to ground all electrical equipment, including equipment connected by the grounding electrode conductor to the grounding electrode system. Also, National Electrical Code Section 250.56 says where a grounding electrode is a metal water pipe, it shall not be connected to the grounding electrode system ahead of the water meter or other water system device that may isolate the water pipe from the premises wiring system. The second ground rod installed at the gate could potentially create a ground loop, which can cause noise in the phone line. This is because the electrical current from the gate power supply can flow through the ground wire of the branch circuit, the second ground rod, and the grounding electrode conductor of the house electrical system, creating a complete circuit that can induce noise on the phone line. By connecting the second ground rod to the grounding wire of the branch circuit, the gate is effectively being grounded twice, which is not permitted by the National Electrical Code. The grounding electrode conductor for the house electrical system should be connected to the main grounding electrode system, which is typically located at the service entrance of the building. To resolve the issue, the second ground rod should be removed, and the gate should be grounded through the grounding electrode conductor of the house electrical system. This will ensure that there is only one grounding electrode system and that there is no ground loop that can cause noise on the phone line. Grounding is a critical aspect of electrical safety, serving several essential functions. Firstly, it provides a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source. This is crucial for the operation of overcurrent protection devices like circuit breakers or fuses. When a fault occurs, such as a live wire coming into contact with a metal enclosure, the resulting high current flow will quickly trip the breaker or blow the fuse, disconnecting the circuit and preventing the electrical shock or fire hazards. Secondly, grounding helps to stabilize voltage to ground during normal operation. Without a proper ground connection, voltage fluctuations can occur, leading to equipment malfunction or even damage. The ground provides a reference point, ensuring that voltage levels remain within safe and predictable limits. Thirdly, grounding minimizes the risk of electric shock. By providing a path for fault current, it reduces the potential difference between conductive surfaces and the earth, making it less likely for a person to receive a shock if they come into contact with a faulty appliance or piece of equipment. In the context of the described situation, the attempt to install a second ground rod at the gate introduces several potential problems. The main issue is the creation of a ground loop. A ground loop occurs when there are multiple ground paths between 2 points, creating a closed circuit. This can lead to circulating currents within the ground system, which can manifest as noise in sensitive electronic equipment, such as the phone line connected to the intercom system. The humming noise observed at the gate speaker and the noise on the house phone line are indicative of this ground loop issue. Electrical noise can also be caused by electromagnetic interference or EMI, radio frequency interference or RFI, and improper shielding. When dealing with telephone lines and intercom systems, several factors can contribute to noise and interference. Firstly, the quality of the wiring and connections is paramount. Loose connections, corroded terminals, or damaged cables can introduce resistance and impedance imbalances, leading to signal degradation and noise. Secondly, the proximity of the phone line to other electrical wiring can induce noise through electromagnetic coupling. Power lines, lighting circuits, and other sources of electromagnetic radiation can interfere with the relatively weak signals carried by phone lines. Thirdly, the grounding and bonding of the phone system components are crucial. Proper grounding ensures that all parts of the system are at the same electrical potential, minimizing the risk of ground loops and other noise-related issues. In the described scenario, the installation of a second ground rod at the gate is likely exacerbating the problem. Instead of improving the grounding, it is creating an additional path for current to flow, leading to the ground loop and the associated noise. The correct approach is to ensure that the gate is grounded through the main grounding electrode system of the house. This typically involves connecting a grounding conductor from the gate back to the main grounding electrode, which could be a ground rod, a metal water pipe, or a concrete encased electrode or UFA ground. This single-point grounding system ensures that all electrical equipment is referenced to the same ground potential, minimizing the risk of ground loops and noise. To troubleshoot the noise issue, several steps can be taken. Firstly, the second ground rod at the gate should be removed. Secondly, the grounding conductor connecting the gate to the house's grounding system should be inspected for continuity and proper connection. Thirdly, the phone line wiring should be checked for loose connections, corrosion, and damage. Fourthly, the routing of the phone line should be examined to ensure that it is not running parallel to power lines or other sources of electromagnetic interference. Fifthly, surge protection devices can be installed to protect the phone system from voltage spikes and transients, which can also contribute to noise. Surge protection devices, or SPD, are designed to protect electrical and electronic equipment from voltage spikes and surges. These devices divert excess voltage away from the protected equipment, preventing damage or malfunction. SPD are commonly used to protect sensitive electronics such as computers, televisions, and phone systems, as well as larger electrical systems in buildings and industrial facilities. The effectiveness of SPD depends on several factors, including their surge current capacity, voltage protection rating, and response time. It's important to select SPD that are appropriate for the specific application and to install them correctly. There are different types of SPD available, including whole house surge protectors, which are installed at the service entrance, and point-of-view surge protectors, which are plugged into outlets. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for the effective operation of SPD. Bonding refers to the practice of connecting all metallic parts of an electrical system together to create a low-impedance path for fault current. This helps to ensure that all parts of the system are at the same electrical potential, minimizing the risk of electric shock and equipment damage. Bonding is typically achieved by connecting metal conduits, enclosures, and equipment frames together with bonding jumpers or conductors. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, provides detailed requirements for grounding and bonding in Article 250. This article covers topics such as grounding electrode systems, grounding conductors, bonding conductors, and equipment grounding. It's important for electrical contractors and installers to be familiar with the NEC requirements to ensure that electrical systems are installed safely and in compliance with the code. Article 250.4 A5 states that effective grounding path, electrical equipment and wiring shall be installed in a manner that creates a low impedance circuit facilitating the operation of the overcurrent device. It shall be capable of safely carrying the maximum ground fault current likely to be imposed on it from any point in the wiring system where ground fault may occur to the electrical supply source. The earth shall not be considered as an effective ground fault current path. Article 250.6 defines objectionable current as currents that flow over the grounding conductors or grounding paths. Objectionable current can cause voltage drops, create hazardous touch potentials, and interfere with the operation of sensitive electronic equipment. The NEC provides guidance on how to minimize objectionable current by ensuring that grounding systems are properly designed and installed. There are specific steps in identifying and addressing the root cause of ground loops and noise issues in electrical systems. Firstly, visual inspection is to examine the wiring, connections, and grounding components for any obvious signs of damage, corrosion, or loose connections. Secondly, voltage testing is to measure the voltage between different grounding points to identify potential differences that could indicate a ground loop. Thirdly, continuity testing is to use a multimeter to check the continuity of grounding conductors and bonding jumpers. Fourthly, insulation resistance testing is to use a megometer to measure the insulation resistance of wiring and equipment. Fifthly, current clamp testing is to use a clamp meter to measure the current flowing through grounding conductors. Sixthly, spectrum analysis is to use the spectrum analyzer to identify sources of electromagnetic interference, or EMI. In addition to addressing the grounding issues, it may also be necessary to improve the shielding of the phone line and intercom system. Shielded cables can be used to reduce the amount of electromagnetic interference that is coupled into the wiring. Filters can be installed to block unwanted noise frequencies. In some cases, it may be necessary to relocate the phone line or intercom system to a less noisy environment. When working on electrical systems, it's important to follow safe work practices. Firstly, always to energize the circuit before working on it. Secondly, use appropriate personal protective equipment or PPE, such as gloves, safety glasses, and insulated tools. Thirdly, follow lockout-tagout procedures to prevent accidental re-energization of the circuit. Fourthly, test the circuit to ensure that it is de-energized before working on it. Fifthly, use proper lifting techniques to avoid injury. Sixthly, be aware of your surroundings and potential hazards. Seventhly, follow all applicable codes and standards. Eighthly, if you are not qualified to perform electrical work, hire a licensed electrician. In the context of gate and intercom systems, specific safety considerations apply. Firstly, ensure that the gate is properly grounded to prevent electrical shock. Secondly, use weatherproof enclosures and fittings to protect electrical components from the elements. Thirdly, install surge protection devices to protect the system from voltage spikes. Fourthly, provide adequate lighting to improve visibility and safety. Fifthly, regularly inspect and maintain the system to ensure that it is operating safely and reliably. When installing or modifying electrical systems, it's important to obtain the necessary permits and inspections. Permits are required for most electrical work to ensure that the installation meets code requirements and is performed safely. Inspections are conducted by qualified electrical inspectors to verify that the work has been done correctly and in compliance with the code. Failure to obtain permits and inspections can result in fines, penalties, and delays. In addition to the National Electrical Code, there may be local codes and regulations that apply to electrical installations. Local codes may be more stringent than the NEC in certain areas, such as grounding, bonding, and wiring methods. It's important to be familiar with the local codes and regulations in your area to ensure that your electrical installations are in compliance. Understanding the NEC and local codes is essential for safer and compliant electrical installations. These codes provide detailed requirements for wiring methods, grounding, bonding, overcurrent protection, and other aspects of electrical systems. It's important for electrical contractors and installers to stay up to date on the latest code changes and to apply them correctly in their work. The NECs are updated every 3 years, so it's important to have the latest edition. There are also numerous training courses and resources available to help electrical professionals stay informed about code requirements. In conclusion, addressing the grounding and noise issues at the gate requires a systematic approach. Removing the second ground rod, ensuring proper grounding to the house's main grounding electrode system, inspecting and repairing any wiring or connection problems, and implementing appropriate shielding and surge protection measures will help to resolve the issue and ensure a safe and reliable electrical installation. Always consult with a qualified electrician if you are unsure about any aspect of electrical work. They have the knowledge, skills, and experience to perform the work safely and in compliance with the code.